Hello, welcome to Introductions with Bryan and Craig. I'm Bryan.
I'm Craig.
Yeah, we're just gonna shoot the shit. We're gonna tell you about who we are, and we're going to pitch you a movie.
Yeah, that's what
Maybe,
that's what our plan is to do every
yeah,
week on this show.
possibly two movies if we feel so inclined.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, maybe the two movies become one movie. Maybe we come up with a sequel. Maybe we have a whole new franchise that we start. Who's to say?
Oh man, you know what'd be great is if we start off with a franchise like Fast and the Furious, and it starts off like super normal, and then it goes like way off the rails where they postulate if they're gods.
I like it. Why not?
Because like that's basically like I don't know if you've seen the last Fast and the Furious movie, but they're all like, "Man, did you see that? Those guys shot us like 100 times, and not one of us got shot." So
That pretty much makes sense. The only problem I have with this whole scenario is that something that would come from you and I as the people who were the brains behind it would start out mostly normal. Seems unlikely.
yeah, it would probably be off the rails from the jump. Let's be honest.
if we're being truthful and honest about it.
If
So.
if we're being truthful, yeah. So you're probably wondering why we're even doing this, and it's because I met Craig while playing Pokemon actually. Yeah, so Pokemon Go not only facilitates community but also podcasts.
I mean, yeah, it's the next logical step, really.
Yes, it's the Pokemon Go to podcast pipeline. We're gonna start it.
Yeah. And we also figured there's not enough shows where two white guys are talking to each other.
Exactly.
We should probably add to that zeitgeist.
Yes, we just two white dudes just talking and just coming up with the most outlandish shit that we can think of. But like most good white guy podcasts, we have kind of like a loose format which is completely arbitrary and totally not made up.
Totally not made up. No, this was sent down like when Moses went up to Mount Ararat and came down with tablets from God. It's basically
Yes.
that same genre.
Yes,
It's a tablet from God genre.
Yes, I unfortunately did not get the visions from God. It was all Craig. So Craig.
Yeah, that's right. If someone's going to have a vision from God, it's probably coming from me. So here's the pitch for what this show is going to be. We are going to talk about our lives, things that are going on, stuff that's happening, try to make it entertaining. We might also throw in a news story. I used to do a different podcast where I did couple news stories every week and kind of wanted to bring that over because I enjoyed doing that. And then Bryan is also going to, I don't even know how to describe it. The way I think the basic framework we had for the Bryan segment is that Bryan is going to try and break Craig's brain.
Yes.
Which he's very good at doing.
So surprisingly, I can do it every week without fail. Sometimes multiple times a week.
My brain is very flexible. It's been broken so many times. I just rub some dirt on it, get back in the game, and it starts back up again. But it breaks so easily. So
yeah, he's like that. To do a very bad sports metaphor, like those guys that in football who are like get a bunch of concussions. Like that's Craig. Craig gets like 5 concussions a game, and he's like, "I'm still ready. Put me in, coach."
The only difference is that mine doesn't result in permanent brain damage. Thankfully,
True.
I'm not more and more likely to be broken after each one. I think it all comes back together again, and I'm mostly okay. I mean, this hasn't been scientifically proven. I might be completely faulty at this point with the amount of times that Bryan has broken my brain in the short time I've known him. But
Yes.
I feel like I'm okay, so that's something.
Yeah, and if you don't have Dane Bramage, you're all right. So
I definitely don't have any of that. So
I figured I should at least, since the first episode, we should introduce ourselves. I should probably explain who I am. I'm a white guy. I grew up in a Mexican household, so I identify as Mexican. So that's an interesting trait, I suppose, I have as a human identity. And I grew up in a super small town in Alaska, and all I did was play video games and watch a load of movies, and that kind of influenced my career path. I usually work in TV. In the news side, and minored in film, and yeah, that's kind of the long and the short of it, and you'll learn more about me as we go on.
yeah, I like that you say in past tense you used to just play a lot of video games and watch a lot of crazy movies, because I would say that's still going on.
Yeah, okay, that's been kind of going on for the past 30 plus years, so yeah, you're right.
There you go. There you go. All right, I will introduce myself. My name is Craig Dodge. I am older than Brian.
But not by much.
Yeah, not by that much, but enough for it to be where I might be forgetting things and I'll need to rely upon Brian to remember my brain because, again, he's also broken it and it's old. So we got two things going against me that way. So I am also a white guy. I was raised in a white guy household, so I don't know if that's interesting at all. But yeah, I was raised at the peak of caucasity. So yeah,
Wait. Did your mom like make the really weird, like messed up white person dishes like ham and jello? Like, did she ever make that when you were growing up?
Wait. What in Jello?
So like there's a bunch of, and you can look this up, this is real, like old school, like I guess, oh god, what is it called? I don't want to say it's like Woman's World, but it's like one of those, supermarket magazines that you look at. And they have, it's been going on for like god, like nearly 100 years at this point, I'd assume. And one of them has like, dazzle your friends and excite your husband with ham encased in jello. And it's like the most disgusting thing you've ever seen. And I'm pretty sure that the recipe was put together by some woman on Valium or some man on Valium who was like,
someone clearly on Valium. Ham and Jello.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like,
I guess we're not that white. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
No. There was. I mean, I went to several, like church potlucks where all sorts of things were put into Jello, but it was usually like, peaches or some kind of fruit, or sometimes they put carrots in Jello. Did you ever have this?
No, because the place that I grew up, we had like these big social gatherings. Oh god, what do they call them? Like cakewalks and stuff. And people would bake their cakes, and they would also do stuff. But there was nothing like ever in Jello. They did make like weird like potato casserole things.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy with the potato casserole thing, but yeah, this was not a thing that I would recommend. But like, they would take carrots and they would like, I don't know, like make really fine strips, like shreds of carrots, and then they would put that in like lime green Jello, and it's just as bad as it sounds.
I mean, I get carrot cake. You can make carrot cake good.
Yeah, no, yeah, carrots can be good in a dessert, but not a Jello dessert. It was really bad. So that's about as far off the rails as far as Jello and things put into it. But ham, that is a crime against humanity to put that into Jello. I do not recommend. I will not eat it. I do not support it, and quite frankly, I won't vote for anyone whose platform is ham and Jello. So
we're bringing back 1950s dishes.
That's our platform.
Well, hold up. I mean, Spam sandwiches are pretty damn good. So
I have very little experience with Spam. I have had it before. I didn't hate it. It was fine.
I mean, it's a lot of salt. I mean, it kept our troops alive in like World War II and the Korean War. So
right, because nothing keeps a troop going like sodium.
Exactly, and it's an electrolyte, so it'll keep you in the fight for longer.
There you go. So
sorry, we got way off topic. Anyways, Craig,
that's kind of the point, though. I think so.
That is the point.
I'm counting Jello and carrots and ham together as basically the target demographic of this podcast, as people who would potentially be entertained by us talking about carrots and Jello. So there you go. If you don't like it so far, yeah, this might not be the show for you.
We promise it gets better, though.
I mean, I make no such promises. We hope it gets better, but we'll see. So okay. So anyway, yeah. I think my introduction ended with I'm a white guy. So
yes,
I'll do a little bit more than that. I work in mortgage. I don't want to talk about it. You don't want to hear about it. So don't ask me what I do for a living, because it's fine. I like what I do for a living, but boy, is it not interesting to talk about. So I spend way too much time playing Pokemon Go, far too much. Like it's not a video game, it's a lifestyle. And that's a problem probably, but it is the thing I enjoy. So I do that a lot. That's how I met Brian.
Yay.
And I'm kind of a sports fanatic. A sports radio show, those are pretty much universally not very fun to listen to, so I don't want to do that. But every now and then, I might say something like, oh my god, the Broncos are playing tomorrow, and they're wearing their throwback 1977 uniforms, and I can't wait, and I'm excited they'll be playing the Raiders and go Broncos. So that might slip out of me from time to time.
What was it? They have a hat. They have a helmet, if I remember correctly, from like the 80s. Every time they bring it back, like they always lose, and people think it's cursed, but it's really cool.
It is really cool. They're going to wear it tomorrow, so hopefully they don't lose. We can break the curse.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope so.
The one they had been wearing was like sort of like it was like retro-ish, but it wasn't like the right colors and stuff, because the NFL didn't allow them to wear different colored helmets, so they had to like just use the one helmet they had. So it was off. But the one they're wearing tomorrow, because now the NFL has lightened up that rule, they're wearing the cool old school royal blue. Oh. So anyway, yeah. So I don't want to talk about sports. Won't do that, but I will say go Broncos. So anyway, That's me. I'm sure you'll get to know me more, just like get to know Bryan more if you listen to the show. And probably if you're listening to this episode, you may already know us as we try to build an audience. We'll probably lean upon people that we already know and be like, no, you really should listen though. So
It's like the full it's like the full the full experience, just longer, and you can take it with you and enjoy it on your in your ear holes.
that's right. And you can't interrupt us. We just keep talking the whole time.
It's true. So we
Yeah.
stay on topic and or off the rails on our own.
That's right. The on topic we make no promises or guarantees towards, but yes, this is accurate and this is correct. So the next segment that we would normally be doing, I think at this time, is being like, just hey, it's the weekly check-in. What's going on? What's the thing that happened in your life this week? So I wasn't really prepared to do that. I don't have anything in my mind, but maybe Bryan does. Is there anything above all else that happened to you this week, Bryan, that you would want to tell the world about, or that you just need to get off your chest?
Oh man. So my partner's been like super sick for like 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, a while. And I've been taking care of her, and I just want everyone to know that I'm a caring person.
That's good.
Yeah.
She seemed okay today.
Yeah, she was.
All right. Good.
This is actually kind of funny. It didn't require anything like this, but I was an EMT. I mentioned I grew up in a small town in Alaska. I was an EMT for a while, and not just any EMT, but because it was a small town, I learned how to use like the world around me. So basically, essentially combat medicine, which is a really weird skill to have.
True. So you were just like cutting down leaves off of local trees and wrapping them up and making her feel better this way?
Pretty much, yes. And I was stripping bark and making it into like braids and like tying the leaves. No, I wasn't doing any of that. Nothing that cool.
But that's good because there's probably better medicine than that that's available in the city. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, there's a clinic like a mile away from my house. So
that's maybe better than stripping bark, but whatever.
I mean, a lot of classic medicine actually came from the normal world. For example, the cure for malaria came from was it tree bark or tree root? Anecdotally, I can't really remember, but people be like, "Oh man, whenever I feel this way, I just go and chew on this bark, and I feel great."
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think they had a cure for malaria. I thought malaria, like there's a pill you can take, but you can't take it all the time because it'll make you crazy.
Yeah.
So like if you're going to live in Africa, you're basically going to get malaria. But if you're going to visit for a few weeks, you can take this medicine because as long as you only take it for like 3 or 4 weeks, I think you're okay. But if you take it longer than that, it slowly drives you like insane.
I haven't heard. I'm gonna look that up. That's actually I actually don't know that.
I have a friend who lives in Mozambique, and so he actually has had malaria because he wasn't able to keep taking the medicine because he's lived there for years and years now. Right. But this is merely information I've gleaned secondhand from someone who actually lives on the continent. So whether or not it's true, I don't know. But this is what he's told me. So I'm passing it along to you as if it's truth.
And I guess it's not really a cure. I guess it's more of a treatment.
Right. Oh, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah.
I guess.
Oh.
Actually, I don't know if they have a cure for malaria. I need to look that up.
Yeah, you definitely do. Yeah, for sure.
All right, Krager, what's happening in the news?
The news!
But here's the thing. You have to deliver the headline as if you were like a 40s announcer. Like...
Oh, I have to... For some reason, we're talking like this.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Dateline, Denver, Colorado. No. Dateline, Earth. Okay, how many moons does the Earth have? It's a trivia question. How many moons does the Earth have, Bryan?
What is one?
It's not Jeopardy. Currently, the Earth has 2 moons.
Get out of town.
Right? I know. No, this is true. And up until like the middle of November, the Earth is going to have 2 moons because an asteroid has come into orbit of the. It's not a big rock. It's about the size of a school bus, but it is an asteroid and it has a name, but it's like a scientific name that has numbers and stuff in it. So I don't remember what it's called. Hang on. Maybe I still have it pulled up on my phone. Oh no, I have Noodles figuring out how to get my noodles. So I lost my official news source. But this is true. This came from a legitimate news source that I don't have, so I can't reference it. But there is a rock about the size of a school bus that is hurtling towards Earth and is going to be rotating around the Earth for the next couple of months, and then by mid to late November it will break free of the atmosphere and again start just like hurtling through Earth. And it's supposed to come back to the United States or to the Earth and circle it again or come back to it in like 2055 or something.
That's cool.
But for the next approximately 2 months or so, or maybe a month and a half, there's actually our moon that we know of that we could actually see. And there's a teeny tiny moon that is just an asteroid that is circling the Earth for the next month and a half.
Oh, that's cool.
So at the current time, there are 2 moons.
Okay, that's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty cool.
Isn't that great? I know. I read that story. I'm like, well, this is amazing. I love this. This is great. So there you go. News you won't hear probably anywhere else because why would you? But it's true.
You know,
There is.
that's actually pretty cool. I guess it's just like kind of like pulled into the orbit. I mean, I guess that would happen a lot.
Probably from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think so. I don't know. I don't know how common it is, but I do know that it's happening currently. So I thought that was pretty sweet. So also, I have a question for you. This isn't exactly news, but it's something that I read about today, and I just had to. What's the purpose of a Q-tip?
Isn't it? It's not for your ear. It's for like It's like for application of like small medicines, isn't it?
Or medicines or makeup or yeah. Everybody. I mean, pretty much everyone uses that for their ears, but yeah, it literally says on the box of Q-tips, do not insert in your ear canal.
Oh God! And what does everybody do?
That's the first thing everyone does because it's the only thing that and it's apparently bad for your ears. Like if you put that in there, it like clears out the things that are supposed to be in there, and then like makes you more susceptible. And your ears get dry, so then you need more Q-tips, and so it's like this circle that continues. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle of Q-tips in your ears. So,
but.
Yeah, so
here's my query though. Here's my counterpoint. Okay, we're gonna bring this back for those who know from the what was it? Point Counterpoint on PBS where they had those 2 guys talking all the time, and it was like this guy is for whatever and this guy's for the other thing, and they always had like that weird like pissed off New Yorker dude, and he'd be like, they knew what they were doing when they bought the ticket. They knew there was a possibility they could die, and guess what happened? They died. But my counterpoint to you, Krager, is this. If they aren't supposed to be inserted into your ears, why does this feel so damn good?
I mean, it's really the question of our age, I think. But I don't have an answer for it. It's just like they're not for your ears. I don't know what they are for. I guess the Q-tip company is like constantly trying to like say that they're multi-purpose and you can use them for all sorts of different things. But they do print right in the box. Do not insert in your ear canal. So
let's roll this back. So it's basically, I guess let's throw it back to turn of the century. Well, not turn of the last century. It's 1901. You have a bit of cotton and a stick.
This is true.
What do you...
They were invented in 1923, so 1901, this was not a thing that existed.
Okay, so let's just say literally 100 years ago.
Literally 101 years ago.
101 years ago.
Literally.
Yes. Like, what would you... I would jam it in my ear. Like, let's be real.
I mean, I don't know what else they're for. Like, even though it says that's like the one instruction is do not insert in your ear canal, like, it seems like that's exactly what they're for. So, yeah, like you said, they knew what they were doing. They were originally invented by a parent who was trying to make them make something to apply medicines to their little baby girl a little bit easier. So he came up with this like stick and then putting cotton on either side. And and then it kind of took off because everybody was sticking them in their ears. They didn't actually start saying don't put them in your ears until like the 70s though. So for the first 40 or 50 years, it was a free for all in your ears. But then apparently, and the funny thing is there's like no record of anybody actually saying that like they sued the Q-tip company because, they punctured their brain or something, or I don't know what the reason to not put it in your ear is, but there was no lawsuit. There was no reason. They just started putting that on there. Like, maybe this isn't good. Yeah.
I swear there's got to be like an urban legend because every place has like urban legends. Like if you do this, your eyes are going to fall out or something crazy.
Right. I don't know what bad happens if you put them in your ears too much. I mean, it can't be too bad because literally I think that's what the entire company is basically established and continues to be sustained upon. So yeah, it can't be that bad for you, but apparently it's bad enough that they warn you not to do it, even though that's almost the entire purpose of why they exist. So also, do you know what a Q-tip was originally called?
Oh God. I have no idea.
They were called Baby Betty Gays.
Because the character was because the person who came up with it was Betty Gay?
I think the baby was named Betty.
Okay.
And so that's what, they were called. And they changed it to, I think, just Baby Betty's for a while. And then they went with Q-tip, which is a much better name, honestly. Right. But Baby Betty Gays was the original name of the Q-tip.
Wild.
Yeah. So more than you ever needed to know about Q-tips. The reason this even came up as I was playing Connections on the New York Times website today, which is a game that, oh, dude, this game is a problem. Well, I have about 4 or 5 games that I play on the New York Times like every day, and this is one of them. And they give you like 16 words, and you have to put them into 4 different categories, and they're like kind of mysterious. You have to figure out what the categories are, and then guess. And if you guess wrong too many times, then you lose. But yeah, anyway, one of the words there was Q-tip, and I'm like, is there any other thing that a Q-tip could be other than what I think of as a Q-tip? And then I started reading about the history of Q-tips, and this is how I occupy my time on a Saturday morning because I don't know, that's just what I do. So filling my brain full of knowledge and then sharing it because Who doesn't want to know the history of Q-tips?
I mean, I do the same thing. I go on little tangents and I look stuff up all the time. That is what the internet
I
is
know
great
you're about
for.
to find out about malaria cures. So I mean, I get it. Yeah, this is the kind of hard hitting news that we're here for. So
Actually, so fun fact, because my entire career has been based in news, that you know how they have
right,
in like Dateline, or not Dateline, but I guess like CBS, ABC, all those like the big three, when they have, you know, they're like dun, 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 dun. So
oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
actually based on, it's not the Morse device, but a different device that would spit out. It's a printing sound that would spit out like dispatches and wires and things like that.
Was it like
Yeah,
ticker tape stuff?
Yeah, I
Like,
couldn't think of the word, but yeah, it's basically like the old school ticker tape to go like stuff like that.
oh,
It's
nice,
kind of what it sounded like.
nice.
It was more, you know how like your brain, you know how in different like places like cows go moo, but in like France they go
Oh, right.
shazoo. Like that's what it sounds like to
Exactly.
Americans, and so that's why they had it. So there you go. You're learning
That's
all
why they
sorts
have
of
that.
crazy
So
things today.
yeah. So whenever we do the news for now, we need to come up with an audio sound that's, you know, the ticker tape sound or
Yeah.
whatever in the background, so it can make. In addition to talking like this, for some reason, we also are going to have a sound
Yes.
behind us.
Oh God, I love those.
Maybe it's
I love those
or not.
like 40s reels. You can.
Oh,
They're so
they're so
great.
good.
Like Eisenhower
Yeah, I
says,
know.
Eisenhower is now in a deadlock with Hitler. Hitler's now
Yeah,
moving into Spain, but Eisenhower says, "Not so fast, Bucko."
I don't think Eisenhower's president when Hitler
No,
was
you're right.
alive, but you know, yeah.
It would be the Delano. It would be FDR.
There you go.
Yeah.
FDR. Dateline Berlin. Oh yeah, I'm with you.
Oh,
Those are.
so great.
I don't know why they ever talked like that, but I wish. Wouldn't that be
Oh my
great if they
God, that'd
still
be
talked like
so
that for
amazing.
like they should just come out with a show where it's like the news of today, but it's all
Oh my
people
God,
talking like
that's
this.
okay.
Today, Kamala Harris came out today and said that transgender people are people that she supports and she wants to be like that. Would be so.
But President
great.
Trump says not so fast. Oh man, that is a pitch right there. That okay, you guys got a bonus
I know.
pitch
We just
for
came.
another podcast. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, we just came up with like the best news show. Like it'll take over all of the news programs because everybody wants to hear
Oh
this.
yeah,
I'm
no, and
positive.
like just the fast talking and just
Yeah.
because I guess they only had, you know, so much time, and they had to like keep it as conversational as possible. And God, because the one that I always remember seeing was and I think it was because years ago they had like a DVD box set that was like World War II in color or whatever, like some World War II thing. And before like one of the episodes that they had, they showed like one of those reels, and I'll never forget. And it's like, but how can you help at home? War bonds, and it was like big, you know, thing. And then it
Of course.
cut to like Humphrey Bogart, and he's like, I just bought a war bond today, and I'm going to. And it was like, what the hell is going on?
Here's looking at you,
It was.
kid. You should buy a
It
war
was
bond
so
too.
weird, and I was like, all right, that's what they went with.
Would you say it's so that they could talk faster? Can you say more words if you talk like that?
You know,
Like, can you squeeze in more? It seems like it takes longer to say things when you're talking like this. You don't get in quite as many words.
You know, I don't know.
Maybe,
It must be like a
I don't
thing,
know
like your brain thinks you're absorbing more information, because I know that the human brain can absorb 120 words a minute like no problem, with like no extra
Okay.
strain. So this is fascinating.
Maybe it just sounded more
I guess
official.
maybe.
I really want to know why they talk like this.
You know,
in the 40s now.
because like when you watch media from that time, that's what they sound like, right?
All the newsreels, yeah, for sure.
I am like 100% positive that nobody ever like really talked like that.
There's no way anyone. So there, Bryan, how are you
Well,
doing
you know
today?
what, Craig? It's been a great day. I you know, I'm gonna have to look that up. That's something that I gotta figure out.
Yeah, there's another thing you need to look up. There you go. This is the show to come for things to look up, because we don't know them, but we wonder
things
about
we
them.
wonder.
And then get back with us. Get back with us and let us know.
Yes,
so that we can be
we're gonna
idiotic.
start. We're gonna start an Instagram. We're gonna start a YouTube channel, and just go crazy in the comments.
Yeah.
No one will be monitoring them, but
no, but we'll listen. No. If someone tells me why people are talking like that, you better believe I'm going to be reading every word.
Maybe if this takes off, we'll do like a mailbag segment. Like that'd be amazing.
Yeah, we'll learn. Yeah, we'll learn from others, because we don't know anything. We just know about like how many moons there are above the Earth and the history of Q-tips. tropes. These are not things that are useful in like everyday
But
society.
they're great at parties.
That's right. There you go. And apparently
Yes.
on podcasts. So
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway.
So again, we went on an epic tangent. I'm going to try and break Craig's brain.
I was going to say, are you ready to break my brain now? Because I'm a little bit worried, but also a little bit excited.
I'm gonna go like a level 1 brain break. I'm not gonna go too crazy.
Okay. You're not going to go too hard on the first episode. That's good.
Yes. Also, I know we've been playing. In case you don't know, Craig and I do play a lot of Pokemon Go together, and we had just finished playing Pokemon Go for like 3.5 hours. So
3 hours. Yeah.
So, anyways, so you know what anime is, right? Japanese anime.
I mean, I am familiar with the concept in general. I'm not familiar with the particulars very much, but yes, I do know what anime is. In
Japan, it's all anime. It's basically animation, and the best American anime is King of the Hill.
What? Wait, what? They like King of the Hill, but they have their own version
they don't have their own version of it. It's just King of the Hill, and of course they have their own like Japanese dub of it. But King of the Hill is like the best, and like there's huge like swaths of fans that are like it's better in its original English, or better in its or better in Japanese. It kind of like how we have our own dub.
Everybody's like, yeah, you should watch the original Japanese because it's so much more real and authentic than the stupid American dubs.
Right.
I want to hear a Japanese guy go like, damn it, Bobby. Like, I just need to hear that.
I brought that up because it gets even crazier. So in Japan, they have, their northern and southern. And apparently the southern, there's obviously dialects, and their southern dialect they use for the dubbing for the King of the Hill characters. So they sound hick.
Because is the South Japanese accent the hick accent like the Southern American?
So
okay, is Tokyo like, are the big cities like in the north, or like
Tokyo,
why is that?
So Hokkaido's in the north. Tokyo, this is rough geography. Tokyo is kind of like central, I guess, and Kyoto and all those places are southern. So it's kind of like that dialect. I have personally never witnessed this, but apparently like there are forums and they talk about like how good King of the Hill is. Like King of the Hill is just like America to them. And I mean, I guess it kind of is.
It kind of is. I mean, apparently,
but yeah. So that was the level 1 brain break. So you can be like, oh, okay.
This makes me happy. My brain's not broken. My brain is like blissed out thinking of Japanese people watching King of the Hill and thinking it's tremendous American culture.
Here comes the brain break then. So
good.
So my dad is Mexican, and he looked a little bit like Bill Cosby, only lighter. But he sounded just like Hank Hill. It's really funny because my dad passed away a few years ago, but it's always like whenever I get kind of sad, or I'm like, oh, I wonder if kind of want to hear my dad. I watch King of the Hill because
you watch King of the Hill, and you're like, oh, yeah.
He would say stuff like that all the time. He'd be like, "Now, Brian, look, now."
What you doing? That's really good. That's really good. Like, are you doing a Hank Hill impersonation, or is this literally what your father sounded like?
Is the same thing, yeah. And so he'd be like, "Now, Brian, you can always tell the measure of a man by the firmness of his handshake." And I'm like, "You are a fucking stereotype." Because he grew up in Texas. He grew up in Houston.
I mean, he's right though. Like if you a fish handshake and you're
and it's so funny. And he would even say, because the way that I am, he'd be like, "Brian, you ain't right sometimes." And I'm like, oh my god.
It sounds like a wise man. I think he knew what he was talking about.
But we did love watching movies together, and I guess that was the best part. But he was always one of those people that had to watch a movie a couple times to get all the subplots and stuff. But I could watch I can always watch a movie and get 90% of it. And I'm Dad, I didn't realize you didn't notice that. And he'd be like, oh, well, I guess I had to watch it. He's a simpler man. I'm not gonna say he wasn't smart, but he was a simpler man. Sometimes he'd miss out on that, and we would talk about it. Yeah. But it was always like Hank Hill. And he'd be like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to watch that one again.
I love your dad impersonation. It makes me just unreasonably happy.
Yeah,
this is good.
He always kind of sounded like that. He always we would read the daily comics, and he'd be like, now I'm looking at this Garfield comic, and in the first panel it looks like Garfield is looking at John and has a curious look on his face. And I'm like, why are you reading it like this? But
all of the subtleties. He's just taking his time to get there.
And
I like it.
I mean, it was kind of, like that old school Texas thing. So yeah, I guess that wasn't really a break your brain. That was like, hey, this is kind of what's going on in the other country, and this is why I can relate to it.
I love it. I love it very much. I don't know that my brain is broken. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10 brain breaking, that was like a 0.5. But it was very good. Like I appreciate the fact that you went easy on my brain this first week and didn't completely break it, because there have been several times where you have sent me things that have completely broken my brain, and it took a couple days for it to completely come back to normal. So so going easy the first week, that's good. I do appreciate
good.
it.
Yes. So and now the best part.
Oh, this is the ingredients we have to choose from are very unusual, which is maybe the best part of being able to do this. So yeah,
the pitch.
The pitch.
Okay. So I got one. I was thinking about this. Okay.
Your
average everyday Texas man. Let's say he's near Balmorhea, which, if you don't know, is in West Texas in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, I definitely did not know.
And he's living his life, and he gets contacted by the CIA, and he's basically like, no, I can't do this again. I can't. No, I gave up that life. And like, well, they got the president's daughter, and he's like, oh snap, me and the president's daughter had a thing. And
they're calling him in for one last job.
Yeah, they're calling him in for one last job. But here's the thing. He's got to infect a foreign diplomat with malaria, but he has to get in close. So he has the malaria on a Q-tip. On a Q-tip.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Q-tip, yes. And so that's the way he's got to do it. And their hijinks ensue. He ends up in, like, let's say he ends up in Japan, and they think he sounds like Hank Hill, and they love him. Yes.
But there's a time element to this too, because this particular strain of malaria has been tested to only work when the Earth has 2 moons.
Yes.
So he has to get it done by mid-November of 2024, or else all is lost.
All is lost, and possibly World War III.
Yes.
I love it. This title's gonna sound stupid as hell. Okay. It's gonna be called The Tip of Texas.
Say that again, because you broke up and I'm dying to hear it.
The Q-tip of Texas.
Okay.
Starring Josh Brolin.
I love. Oh, okay. Why not?
Josh, and Keith David as the president, because why the hell not?
I don't even know who that is.
David,
but okay.
He's from. Have you ever seen Pitch Black? Oh man,
no.
Oh god,
this is where I'm going to fail you, because you have seen so many more movies than me.
Keith David has a very. Have you ever seen Gargoyles on Disney? Okay, he's the voice of the main character. That's him. Yeah, so you can picture the voice. That's kind of where it's going, because he sounds very, presidential.
Okay, I'm gonna. This is the part of the show where I Google things. I'm gonna pull him up to see what he looks like.
Apparently, I've heard secondhand that Keith David absolutely loves to do indie projects. And so this is something he would definitely love to do.
Oh, I just Googled Keith Davis by accident, and I got this football player, and I'm like, I don't think
that is definitely not. That is definitely not Keith David. I can tell you that.
I recognize this guy. His face looks familiar. He has a presidential way about him. I'll sign off on this. Yeah.
And
I like
Keith David, if you're listening, can I just get a beer with you, man?
Well, I mean, he'd be foolish not to sit down with both of us and make that happen. I mean, we're breaking his career with this this film.
It's a resurgence. It's a resurgence. It's a comeback.
For sure. Don't call it comeback.
All right, Craig, what you got?
Oh, I have to have a pitch too? Dang it. You took all the good stuff. I was ready for this.
You can mix and match. I mean, it's fine.
Oh, I mean, I was just trying to pitch in, because this is your thing that you're so good at. I'm trying to think.
This was the brain break that was promised.
Yeah, the brain has officially broken. So let's see here. Okay, there's a second moon that is circling the Earth.
Sci-fi, love it.
Yeah. It's very small right now, but it's going to grow for some reason. We don't know why, but we have to get up there, and we have to figure out a way to remove it.
Okay, remove it from orbit. I'm with you.
Okay. But here's the thing. We're going to learn a lot about the Earth. And it's not what we think. Forget all of the science you've ever known.
Love it.
Because all the science you've ever known says that the Earth is, like a sphere, and that, we're rotating in a solar system, in a galaxy, in a universe. There's, rules of physics, there's constants. This is all not true. It turns out that the Earth is roughly ear-shaped.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so what we have to do is we have to get, of course, a Q-tip to space to remove the rock. that is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And if we don't remove it in time, it's going to be the end of the world, because the world is, as I said, Earth shaped or ear shaped. And and so the only thing that can really save Earth is a baby Betty Gay.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So there you go. I don't know who we get to play the part of the Q-tip.
It's got to be The Rock.
But,
it's got to be
that's
The
Rock. Definitely. I mean, yes, yeah, for sure. I mean, I hear he's hard to get, but we'll do what we can. So, that's great. So, it's more of a baby pitch. I don't have all of the ins and outs. I don't have all three of the phases of the hero's journey here. But
listen, I've been contacted by producers with less than that. So I'm gonna be honest with you. So, I mean, as far as an elevator pitch, that sounds like some good stuff. Good. Yeah, I'd be like, if I were a producer at Warner Brothers, I'd be like, okay, that sounds interesting. Yeah, and I mean, if you get The Rock, there you go. You got star power to get butts and seats.
I mean, if you have The Rock, you could do like a YouTube video on how to put together a bicycle, and you're guaranteed to get millions of views.
Actually, maybe
be all right.
We can get The Rock on how to put together a bicycle.
I mean, I wouldn't be against it. We'll see. Maybe we can do like a little side project when we're filming. Who knows? We'll see. We'll take it step by step. We've got lots of options here. So
yeah. So anyway. That was good. So next time we can all you can either pitch it or I can pitch it, and you can piggyback and make the pitch better.
We can do it together, or
we
can.
Yeah.
If
you got something.
Yeah, definitely. We pitch
if you got something.
Or I like being put on the spot and then coming up with my own idea too. That was fun. I just wasn't ready at the moment. Fair. But I think on my feet. I can think on my feet.
That was
it's
good.
Okay.
That was good. Like it turns out, and it's like, ooh, yeah. And you can have a scene in there where they're like, the flat earthers, they weren't entirely wrong, and you're like, and they're like, what do you mean? And they're like, the Earth is actually on a plane, and the Middle East is actually the Middle Ear.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, we'll get all this. We'll get the top scienticians on it to make sure that we get everything right. But I think it pretty much checks out
listen, you can have weird potato shaped bodies in space. Who says you can't have one ear shaped?
I don't see why you couldn't.
Exactly. Yeah, I suppose that the way that the ear is put together is a sort of naturally occurring organic thing. What's it called? The Fibonacci curve. The ear is kind of based on that. I think it's mathematical, so it could work.
It probably is.
I have no idea. I'm just bullshitting, man. I'm just trying to make it good, make it better. Yeah,
I like it. I enjoy it. So, all right, that's I think that's episode 1.
That's episode 1. We need an awesome sign off.
We do need an awesome sign off, and I don't have one. What do you got?
Okay. Here's one. Until next time, don't jam a Q-tip in your ear.
Q-tips are not for the ear canal. Yeah, that works. We can workshop it, but until next time,
read the box of Q-tips.
Until next time, be sure to read the box of Q-tips.